With all the odds stacked against him, how on earth did this man end up the successful founder of GoDaddy? He had a difficult childhood and learning problems and came from a debt-ridden family. Nothing about his past gave the slightest hint of the success he would go on to achieve. This is the story of Bob Parsons and how he overcame all odds and built his business empire in his later life. In 1950, Baltimore, Maryland, Bob Parsons was born to two hardened gamblers. His mother was a homemaker, while his father worked as a furniture salesman. The family suffered from financial difficulties due to his parents' gambling tendencies. Despite his difficult family situation, Parsons showed resourcefulness and the ability to seize opportunities from an early age. In his neighborhood, Parsons collected golf balls from a local pond, meticulously cleaned them, and resold them to players. This early venture allowed him to learn the art of value creation and earn some pocket change to support himself financially. Parsons also tried his hand at selling newspapers and various items, honing his sales and customer interaction skills. During his teenage years, Parsons faced significant challenges and setbacks. Academic success did not come easily to him, and he found himself struggling in high school. His difficulties with traditional education eventually led to him nearly failing to graduate. One day in his senior year of high school, Parsons' life took a pivotal turn when two friends approached him with a life-changing question after their gym class. What are you going to do after graduation? Standing in front of the gym lockers, the aimless teen now had an important decision to make for his future. What could he go on to do? His poor grades didn't exactly provide a positive outlook in the job market. So, in an effort to chart a different path, he made the decision to enlist in the United States Marine Corps at the age of 17. Parsons was actively involved in various operations like the Vietnam War, and he earned several prestigious military honors for his actions in combat. But unfortunately, he was wounded in action during one of his deployments. As a result of his injuries, he was unable to continue fighting alongside his comrades. Much to his disappointment, he was then reassigned to Marine Corps intelligence as a courier. At this point, he wanted out of the military as he realized that it was not his life's calling. Parsons then left the Marine Corps, but he didn't have a plan. So he mindlessly took a job at a steel mill for 6 months before he decided to call it quits. He was still unsure of what to pursue, but fate had it there existed a program whereby ex-military personnel could go to college, not worry about grades or entrance exams, and have their fees paid for by the government. Seizing the opportunity that presented itself, Parsons enrolled at the University of Baltimore. In one of his interviews, he stated, "I walked into the registrar's office and they asked me what I wanted to major in. I said I didn't have a clue. I was the only person in my family who had ever been to college, so I got the course book, opened it up, and picked the first major I saw, accountancy." Equipped with the knowledge of discipline and responsibility from his military service, Parsons was now able to excel in his studies and ultimately graduated with great distinction. Parsons' excellent academic performance planted a seed of possibility in his mind that he could do well in being an accountant. He then went on to take the accountant's exam before working on various jobs in the accountancy field. But life works in mysterious ways, and in the mid-1970s, fate once again decided to point his career in a new direction. During a visit to Los Angeles to evaluate his client on behalf of the firm he was working for, Parsons found himself with 12 hours to kill before catching his flight home, and so he paid a visit to the Stanford University campus. Little did Parsons know that this impromptu visit to the university would serve as a turning point in his accountancy career. He went to the bookstore and bought himself a book on basic computer programming, as he saw the potential in it due to the technological advances during that time. He read the book and wrote his first computer program on the 5-hour flight back home. Programming quickly became one of his favorite hobbies, and he would spend his free time at work writing simple programs on a spare computer terminal. In his own basement, he spent countless hours teaching himself to write more computer programs. Eventually, he bought an Apple LLC and developed his own program for his family finances in 1979. Just 1 year after creating his own computer program, he sold his Apple and bought an IBM to develop a software called Money Counts, which he decided to bring into the market. He created his first company, Parsons Technology, operating it from his house basement. Parsons once said, "When you go into business for the first time, and particularly when you don't have any people guiding you, you're kind of like a young guy walking into jail for the first time. You learn a lot of lessons. That first year, I priced my software in line with what everyone else was selling theirs for, something like $129. Lost my whole $15,000. The next year, from what I had on a credit card, from my tax loss, and from the bonus I got from my day job, I had $25,000. I put all that into the business again and dropped the price to $49. Lost it all again. Many would have given up at this point, but Parsons refused to take the easy way out. He eventually realized that his marketing plan was the reason things were not going as expected, and his next action became a turning point in his life. In the third year of his venture, he managed to secure a front-page advertisement in a local computer magazine for a low price of $5,000. Parsons then had an advert made up that said money counts, but it only costs $12. He decided to drop the price of his software to a low price of $12 and waived the copy protection and licensing requirements, allowing people to share it with as many people as they wanted to. It was a risky move that eventually paid off as his sales increased drastically. Parsons Technology eventually grew to be a 1,000-employee, privately held company that had a 4% market share in North America. Underlying Parsons Technology's success was Parsons' understanding that true innovation lies not in intricate complexities, but in the ability to simplify the lives of its customers. Several years later, the company's retail price grew by 90%, making $100 million in annual revenue. Eventually, in 1994, Parsons sold the company to a rival tech firm for $64 million. However, after the sale of his first company, Parsons found himself trapped in the clutches of a daunting reality. He had a new problem. Having a vision for a golf equipment company, it quickly became clear that his fortune wasn't enough to launch it. And furthermore, he needed to give away a huge chunk of it when he and his first wife divorced. The newly single Parsons relocated to Arizona to concentrate all his time, money, and energy on cracking the internet. In his mind, it was the next big thing. Like many successful others, he was able to stay updated with the fast-changing world and, in this case, technology advances. The recurring problem, he didn't know what to do. He stated, "My idea was to hire some smart people and try a bunch of different things. The things that worked, we'd keep doing. The things that didn't, we'd quit." Hence, Parsons Jomax Technologies was established, but it wasn't an easy task. Although they had settled on a viable product, a software that allows people to customize their own website using tools and templates, the dot-com boom stifled them. As a new venture, they were unable to buy advertising as other businesses were paying large sums of money to acquire customers. They had a great product, but weren't able to get it in front of anyone. In a bid to raise brand awareness, Parsons and his team decided to change the name of the company to something less corporate and more catchy. So, after much brainstorming, GoDaddy was born. But things did not go smoothly afterwards. In the midst of a turbulent journey, Parsons faced a relentless series of failures over the next 4 years. His dreams crumbled, and he found himself on the verge of financial ruin. The $35 million he had in the bank when he started the company quickly turned into $30 million. Then it was 20, 15, 10, and suddenly he found himself down to his last $6 million. In despair, Parsons decided, against his better judgment, to liquidate the company. It was at this point that Parsons made a crucial yet radical choice. Seeking solace and clarity, he embarked on a soul-searching retreat to Hawaii. It was there he had an epiphany. During his stay, he noticed the valet, who was around the same age as him. The valet was parking his car in the resort, looking as happy as a lark, twirling the keys on his finger, singing to himself, and loving life. He started to question himself. Okay, Bob, you've got this guy, parking cars for a living, as happy as can be. Meanwhile, you've got $6 million in the bank and you're miserable. And this forced him to look at things in a positive light. Parsons realized that if things went south with his business venture, what's the worst that could happen? He could always park cars or be a stickman at a craps table or something. Motivated, he returned to Arizona with renewed purpose. He decided to take the risk to bring his business back to life. Just as he planned to risk it all, something great happened. The dot-com bubble burst and many dot-com companies folded. And when it did, GoDaddy was back from the dead. GoDaddy was now able to buy advertisements for themselves as the dot-com companies who had been competing for advertising folded one after another. Eventually, advertisement companies approached Parsons to offer GoDaddy advertising opportunities. Using his past experiences and knowledge, he came up with a brilliant move that threw GoDaddy into the spotlight. During the 2005 Super Bowl, he took a planned risk and invested $10 million for GoDaddy's television debut, the Too Hot for TV Super Bowl ad. The advertisement was pulled at the last minute as it was seen as being too risque for the TV. Controversially, it became the talk of the internet and news desks around the world, which helped GoDaddy's market share to grow quickly. In 2011, Parsons decided to sell a majority stake of 70% to a group of investment funds, with the aim of bringing in strategic partners who could provide the platform for the company's ongoing growth trajectory. As he stepped down from the role of CEO, he showed his gratitude for the employees that were with him from the beginning by offering over $1 million to each of them. So now that Parsons was the age of 61, surely it was time to retire. Well, the thing is, people like Parsons never truly retire. In 2012, Parsons launched YAM Worldwide, which stands for You're a Mess, a private investment firm that focuses on various business ventures. He and his current wife, Renee Parsons, founded the Bob Renee Parsons Foundation to give back to society via charitable work. Parsons also gave generously to the US Marine Corps, as he was very grateful to them for teaching him the skills and mindset that changed his life. At the age of 64, Parsons founded Parsons Extreme Golf, a brand of high-end golf equipment. Once again, he was able to spot and recognize what the golf industry was lacking and turned it into a business opportunity. Nothing was smooth sailing as usual, but eventually, he created an iron that PGA Tour players couldn't put down. Declaring it a boutique firm selling golf equipment, people asked how he could justify the price tags. He simply said, "You just gotta hit 'em. Hit 'em and you'll see they're the duck's nuts." For more interesting stories, do remember to subscribe.